Hi, it's me, Catherine Collert Page, here with another writing tip today. I'm still talking about writing process, and today I'm discussing the recursive nature of writing. And so what recursive means is that it will circle around. Sometimes you'll hear people say, oh, so-and-so teaches it step by step, or you taught me step by step. Well, that simply isn't true. It isn't true because it's not how to tie a tie. It's not paint by numbers. It's more complex than that. And any good writing teacher will probably teach steps. And sometimes those steps may go in a certain order. More often than not, though, you will go back and repeat some of these steps. This is something that Linda Edwards talks about in her book on legal writing. It's something that I believe John Dernbach talks about in his book on legal writing as well. Many legal writing experts, as well as fiction writing experts, will acknowledge that the process is recursive. So, for fiction writers, you know that means that it might begin with some fragment. I remember hearing Lori Halsey Anderson speak about her book, Speak, and she said that it began with an image of a girl crying, or that she kept hearing a girl crying, and that's how it all started. Jandy Nelson, in her beautiful, beautiful book, The Sky is Everywhere, said that the book began with images of a girl who was crying and grieving and scattering poems everywhere. And if you read the book, those poems are actually weaved into the novel, and it's so poignant and so sweet. Right now, I have a Valkyrie who runs with me, and that's how my current work in progress got started, is this imaginary Valkyrie chimes in when I go on my runs, and she's a very noisy Valkyrie who has a lot to say. And so the fiction writer will start to explore that fragment and follow it, and it leads to more. But initially, that first draft, it's not going to necessarily be very vivid, or it may be vivid and lack a plot. It may be vivid at some points and not in others, just a collection of fragments that are somewhat vivid. And so the writer has to go back in and dive in and explore the scene anew, explore the plot anew, even asking, what does this character really want? Getting inside that character's head and asking what would he or she do next. And the same is true of the legal writing process. So you may take notes on a first draft of the facts, but certain facts might not initially seem to be significant because you haven't defined the legal issues yet. As you do some research and get a better idea regarding the legal issues, then it starts to crystallize. Reading case law, you start to notice which facts might be relevant either because they're analogous or distinguishable. But more than that, as you picture the client's story, which is something that Ruth Ann Robbins, Ken Chestick, and Steve Johansson talk about in their book, Your Client's Story, you start to wonder, what did this scene look like? And you go back to the record again to get those concrete details to actually flesh out that scene and place the reader there. And the same is true with respect to your discussion or argument portion of legal writing, that initially you're not sure which legal issues you're going to follow, and so it may be a little scattered. As you begin to focus on one or shift the focus to one, it takes shape. As you look at your own facts, again, you start seeing which facts from case law are relevant. These two things kind of dovetail with one another back and forth. The case facts help you understand which of your facts are relevant, and your facts help you understand which authority facts are relevant. Sometimes somewhere along the way, you may even start researching again because all of a sudden an idea comes to you about an argument that you could pursue, and you want to see if there's case law that can back it up. So While there are steps, they may not necessarily all go in order, or even if they do, you're going to come back and repeat them again. All of it's going to dovetail with everything else. Each part is going to dovetail with each other part, and with both fiction and legal writing, there is some of that vivid imagining. You know, what did this scene really look like? Who, what, when, where? Okay, so keep that in mind. The writing process is recursive, so if you go through each of those steps and you don't have a complete product, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. In fact, you may even have a draft that you throw out completely, and that's fine. It was part of your process. It's part of how you got there. Okay, so write on.